Welcome back to Up to Something, where today we're going to talk about potting up baby butterfly bushes that I bought wholesale for my backyard nursery business, and how you can do the same if you'd like to have a backyard nursery side hustle, or if you'd like to start a fundraiser for your local PTA or Boy Scout troop. Let's dig in. When I bought these baby butterfly bushes, they arrived the end of April. They came in a very small Elipot tray that looks like this. And I up-potted them into these cell trays really just to save room in my backyard nursery because I didn't have the space for them at the time. They needed to be kept inside because it was still cold at that time. These plugs can go directly into a 3-gallon pot. If you wanted to sell these as really big plants, I prefer to sell my plants as smaller plants because they're less money, and I feel like most people who are coming to a backyard nursery are coming because they want to save money. So I'm going to up pot them into these 4.5-inch square pots. I'm going to let them establish their roots, and then either in the very late fall or early spring of next year, I will up pot them again into 2-gallon pots, and that will be their final resting place until they're sold. I paid about $1 for each of these butterfly bush plugs, and I will aim to sell them for between $6 and $10 depending on when I sell them. If I sell them later this year, they'll still be small plants and I'll charge $6. If I sell them next year, I'll charge $8 because they'll be pretty big by that point. And if I have to wait until the following year, then they'll be in 2-gallon pots and I'll charge $10 for them. So I fill this with my potting mix. I'll tell you a little bit about what I use.
Now you can use any potting mix, but the one that I use is the SunGrow Sunshine Mix number 4. It's supposed to aid in root development and help keep plants from wilting. I buy this at Lowe's for about $35. It's available on Amazon, but it's triple the price, so don't buy it there. I take this mix and then I mix it with some shredded pine bark mulch just to make sure that the potting mix is going to be well draining because most plants don't like to have their roots sitting in water. Then I add a Fluricon slow release fertilizer after I've potted the plants.
So here's my plug tray. You can see that these are really overgrown and should have been up potted already. If you're in any online gardening groups, then you probably already know that butterfly bushes are very controversial. While they attract many pollinators, they're not native to the US, they're native to Asia, and the old kind used to get really big and untidy, and they were prolific seeders, which means that in some areas they became invasive. In fact, they're so invasive in some places that they're banned. But this is a newer cultivar. This is the Buzz Hot Raspberry. This is a sterile variety that will not become invasive, and it only gets 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. Once I have them in their little pot, I snip these back, kind of like pinching when you pinch your dahlias, to promote even branching so that this will be a really nicely branched plant instead of a spindly one. It's kind of the hardest thing about growing out plants for sale though, because I always feel a little guilty, especially if there's a flower on it, for cutting it back. Now I use a company called North Carolina Farms for these. They will not sell to regular homeowners, but they will sell if you have a business, and they do ask you if you have a business. That's what it looks like once it's clipped. And they'll also sell to you for fundraisers. So if you're interested in having a plant fundraiser, either for your PTA or a scout troop or any other organization, this is something that could potentially work for you. You don't have to use butterfly bushes if you're opposed to those. I totally understand. But North Carolina Farms has many other plants that you would be able to use for a plant fundraiser. You can just go on their website and search through. And I know right now, because it's almost fall, you might be thinking about doing moms. Don't do it. They need to be on a constant feed program or they will stay tiny. That happened to me. You want to definitely pick something that's going to be easy to grow, that doesn't need any kind of a special fertilizer. You'll see in this, I have fertilizer in here. That's what I pretty much use for all of my plants. Next.
And my mic died. So while I'm filling up the rest of these pots, let me give you some more information and tips about buying wholesale plants, either for a business or a fundraiser. When choosing plants for your fundraiser or for your business, you want to pick things that are popular and are also hardy for your area. Now, of course, you can do annuals, but annuals are so cheap at places like Lowe's and Home Depot, it's almost not worth it. Plus, if you can't sell them, you can't overwinter them and then sell them the next year. They're just going to die and you'll be out the money. So perennials are probably a better fit. North Carolina Farms is a great website to use to order wholesale plants. However, if you live far away from North Carolina, you might be better off looking for a wholesaler that's closer to you because freight charges can make plants very expensive. The more you have to pay for shipping, the less money you're going to make selling your plants. So if you can find a wholesaler that's closer to you with less shipping charges, of course, that's going to be a great fit. Planning a plant fundraiser does take time. You need to pick a season and a plant way in advance so that you'll have time for that plant to grow out and be big enough to be sale ready. If you go on a website like North Carolina Farms, it will tell you in the description of the plant how long it will take to grow out and be ready for sale. However, keep in mind that weather really affects the growth rate of the plant. If you have super hot and dry weather or really cold weather, it could slow down or stunt the growth of your plant. So you definitely want to take that into effect and pick something that has a wide margin of error. Don't forget, you'll also have to purchase potting soil and pots. I paid a little over $1 for each of these butterfly bush plugs. Once I add on the pot for about 40 cents, the soil and the fertilizer for about 60 cents, and shipping and freight charges, I'm probably all in about $2.50. So you would want to double or triple whatever you're putting into the plant with your sale price, because remember, sometimes even under the best conditions, plants die, and you want to consider that when you're pricing your plant. Of course, the best way to make money with plants is to propagate from your own stock. I'm working on some videos about plant propagation now, so if that's something that interests you, don't forget to subscribe. If you wanted to start a nursery side hustle or backyard business like I have, you'll need a nursery license in order to buy wholesale plants from most growers, but it's really easy to get. If you just go on your state government website, you can register there. In New York, it cost me about $100. All my butterfly bushes are now potted up. Here you can see 35 of them. They're cut back, fertilized, and even though they look a little pitiful right now, believe it or not, in 4 to 6 weeks, these things will put on a ton of new growth and will even be blooming. And just for context, here is a white buzz butterfly bush that I potted up the same time last year, and it was big and beautiful the end of September. I sold a bunch of them then. I sold a bunch of them this summer, and now this guy needs to be deadheaded and up potted for sale next year. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day.